So today's Monday, new week. I'm feeling much better than what I was last Friday. Why? It's because I made a pretty big error with one of the sashes last Friday. And I feel like it's always good to own your mistakes when you do them. It's not diabolical, but it did waste a lot of time. So this sash here, I've taken it out, spent a lot of time sanding it, removing the glass, getting it all ready for painting. Just to realize it was a individual sash that didn't have a partner or a pair. So I realized that the one I needed was left on the ground and I just picked up the wrong one. So this one, as you can see, is a bit different to the one I have prepared. So this is the one we need. This is the one I need to prepare. But I've installed the hinges on it. I'm just setting it up like I did the other frame to mark out to rebate the hinges into the frame. And then all I have to do with this is pretty much just prepare and sand the frame, strip it back. I've taken all the glass out and that's ready for glass. This morning I've picked up all of the glazing bead that I'll need for the fixed panels, silicone, I've got rubber for the glass, which I'll tell you later. I've got brad nails. So a little bit of a change of plans. I'm not going to prepare the sash that I should have prepared last Friday, pretty much because I can't be bothered. And I feel like I just want to do the glazing bead for the fixed panel frames. So let me explain. So with this, we've got glass, 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 and we need something for the glass to fit against, i.e. the glazing bead. So we've got a depth here of 50 millimeters, and those quarter round moldings, see the profile, are 23 millimeters. So I've got 23 is 46 plus 4 is 50, which should go neatly across that span there. So we're going to picture frame one side of all of these, sort of there, glass in the middle, and then another bead on the other side once the glass goes in. So anyway, let's get cutting and I'll show you what I mean when we picture frame and how to cut the miters for these glazing beads. So I've cut the first bead to go along here. When you're cutting quarter round bead, as you can see, it's like a quarter of a round. There's a long point and then there's a short point. I'm measuring because we want the longest point to be there and there. So it's a long point to long point. And then because it's mitered back towards the center in such a fashion where it's ready to accept the piece that goes up the sides, and then that's mitered the same way as this, just at a different length, and then the top is the same. So when you join them all together, they sit just like that. You can see that. So I'll put this together and then it'll make more sense when we assemble it. So I'm just going to get this perfect, use my little without a battery. Battery in, just set it in position and get it perfectly flush, and then just tack it in, flush, just do that, so I can clean that up later. So now we don't have to worry about what we're doing with the miters, we just have to measure the long point, so the opening width, size as we need. So in this case it's 690 or 69 centimeters, and this one is the same. Okay, so I'm going to try and explain this as best as I can. When you're cutting any type of molding that requires something to be picture framed or with miters, there's a certain way you got to cut it. First of all, you sit it in the saw, the drop saw, so that the actual round piece faces you. The square bit sits on the base plate and up against the fence. Then you want to the direction or the miter on the 45 that you want to cut always has to be facing towards the bit you're going to keep. So if I make the cut to cut this square end off like that, I'm going to keep this bit and get rid of that miter. So I'm going to face the saw towards the center of the piece I want to keep. Which gives us that. And then all I want to do is replicate it on the other side. So I know that that's going to be the long point of the measurement that I've marked out there. And then I'm just going to turn the saw the other way. Excuse my high quality equipment. And I think it's 1192. It's not, oh no, sorry, it's 690. That was the other one. So 690. So mark it from the long point, and that'll be the long point. And then we're cutting back that way. So effectively got a V in it, and that's why we have to turn the saw. So we're keeping this section, getting rid of that section, so the saw's pointing back towards the piece that we're going to keep. V. That's all there is to it. I hope that helps. So now I've just cut the two sides. We can slip those in between if your measurements are accurate. Slip those in between there, or that one in there and this one in here. And it doesn't, in all honesty, get much better than that. So as you can see, nice and tight in the corners, not many gaps. Once that's painted, ain't no water getting anywhere near that end grain. Okay, so this is the first fixed panel frame done. Glazing beads are on one side, and the glass will come up behind that, and then I'll replicate this on the other side once it's had a little bit of paint. But I've just gone over this with the palm sander there just to get it all nice. But as you can see, it's all pretty slick looking, if I may say so myself. Can I just say how good I like phone extender poles? Is that what you call them? Phone poles extend. You can just, that's got to come out. That's okay. And yeah, ready for a coat of undercoat. So as the saying goes, another day, another sash, said no one ever. So today I've just got to finally do something I don't want to do and prepare the sash that I should have prepared last week, but I prepared the wrong one. But before we do that, to match the other sashes that I've already done, I've got to take those off and replace them with new ones out of the timber that I bought last week. And then this sash here, I just have to cut it all back and sand it ready for paint. And that one's already done, obviously. So gang, I've just popped into the honeymoon suite. Obviously you can see I've got the two fixed panel frames there ready to go. And then I've got my painting assistant here helping me out. She's doing an amazing job undercoating all my frames for me so we can push this job along to the end. Sash frame done, sash done. We've got another sash frame here and then another sash over here, all undercoated. So Jade's just churning through it all and doing a magnificent job. So there you have it, a little paint shop / honeymoon suite tour with Jade. Just wondering, we're just putting undercoat and maybe top coats on the frames now before we hang them or install them. What do you think? Do you think that's a good idea? Because I'm probably going to demolish the old ones this afternoon and I'll be pretty much ready to install before everything's painted. Then the thing is, when you paint them first and then you hang them, you sort of handle them and you get finger marks and that all over them, as opposed to putting them in first before you paint them, and then maybe it might be a bit harder to paint. So comment below, let me know what you think might be the best way to do this. So yeah, it'd be good to hear from you. So out with the old, in with the new. Just patched up a few little bits around there. It's all screwed down, ready to go. And now I'm finally going to sand and prep this frame for painting. This is the last one. Then I can take it to my better half, the painting pro Jade, and she will finish it off for me from there. And then we can demo. Okay, I finally got the little button working, the remote button for this extender pole for the phone, so that's all good. But sit rep, the undercoating's all done now. Just going to let that dry, which won't take too long. It's pretty warm in the Honeymoon Suite paint shop. And then in the meantime, I'm going to go out to the room, the new gymnasium, where these windows are being installed, and start to take out the glass from the old frame. So we'll do a bit of a how-to and how to use a glass cutter to deglaze and take out the glass, just to make it as safe as possible when removing the frames. And either way, the glass has to be separated from the frames. So we will go out and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, a glass cutter. This is what it looks like. This is what you need to take some glass out. So let's do it. So with the glass cutter, you just want to run it at perfect right angles, not at an angle, just like that, around the glass. And this is the sound you want to hear. So you run that all the way around the square, and then I'll show you the next step after that. So in this case, because there's so much paint, I'm going to try and avoid the paint and run it on the clear piece of glass around, and then we will tap the glass out from there. Glass is cut. Now, with the hammer, we want to hit the reverse side, but just use the hammer. You can see, can you see the line there that I've cut? Just want to use the hammer, not straight on, just on the edge. And you can just feel it break. So yeah, just run your hammer around the cut line, and then you can kind of remove the glass. Ideally, you want a glass sucker just to have in the middle to hold the glass, but in this case I haven't got one, so we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Bottom section's pretty much already and that's it. Make sure you wear gloves, guys. And once that's out, you can just slide those bits out like that. And there you have it. So is that the neatest looking pile of old glass you've ever seen in your life? Let me know in the comments. Anyway, glass is out obviously, and now I get a feeling that these frames are going to just fall out. There's not going to be many tools required, and I can pretty much just pull them out with my hands. So let's not waste any more time chatting. So as you can see, there's not much to it, so let's speed things up a bit, hey? So that wasn't so bad, was it? Even in time lapse, that probably took me, I reckon, 10 minutes to demolish all of those frames. And yeah, I have to say, one of the easier demolition jobs. It's just, you know, you've got some friends crawling around that you've just got to be careful of. And if you know me, you know I hate spiders. So yeah, but anyway, now a little bit of cleanup to do and we can keep moving forward. And yes, just like the neatest stack of old glass you've ever seen, I have the neatest stack of old door jambs, or actually window jambs and frames you've ever seen. So you want to see the best transformation in the world. So we've got a bit of a painting bee going on here in the honeymoon suite, or the paint shop. Putting the first top coat on all these frames on this wall, 2 sash panels, and then in the far distance, the fixed frame panels. If you're wondering why there's no paint there, it's because that's going to be not seen once they're all installed. So yes, we're just finishing off the last of the sashes now. Got my painting pro back in action with little Fritz at her feet in his favourite spot. So all good in the hood. So as you can see, we've got some of the original hardware still on these sashes, and these are called Espagnolet bolts, and they just turn and lock in with these pins at the bottom on the foot of the window and the header of the window. If you can see, we've got some old bracing in the corners just to keep everything square, and the only thing I've really changed is, as we've already seen in past videos, is the hinges, because the other ones were past their use by date. So looking good, looking good. So if you look really hard, you can see my painting lady going crazy over there,